Welcome, everybody, once again to the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are happy to have the athletic director, SS, with us. Andrea, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Congratulations on the event, organizing the 52 Spartan Championships.
Yeah, it actually went really, really well. We had a good turnout. 5 of the members or their representatives were there, and Coach Dickerson was there. So I think total 45 people came out with them to celebrate those gentlemen. So it was a nice night.
Yes, it was. Took a lot of planning, didn't it?
It did. I'm kind of glad it's over. Just on that aspect, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think we finalized it today. I just mailed off the plaques to the people who couldn't come today.
Well, that was too bad that they couldn't make it, but it was very, very nice. And who helped you plan all that?
It was a team effort. So I had some help from, of course, Mr. Havlicek. He did a lot of the letter writing, kind of reaching out, helped with the plaques, kind of helping us get the idea of doing the plaques. The construction classes, took the pieces of wood, routed them, and did the painting. The WCC kids printed the pictures off for us. We sent the pictures to be mounted to the sportsman store, and so he mounted them and made the plaques. Katrina did a lot of the legwork with taking reservations and getting the families parking passes. We had parking passes for them. Our media classes helped us with getting the music and the I guess you call it the music underneath the announcement. Grady Tate wrote the little blurb that was read. He unfortunately couldn't be there Wednesday night, but he wrote the introduction of the gentleman. So that was nice. So it was a huge undertaking, but I think all the pieces finally came together. Had a lot of people contribute. Dave Pollard there at the last minute gave us a bunch of memorabilia, some magazines and some pictures and some banners, and I think it was newspaper articles that were there. So that was nice. They really enjoyed looking at those.
Sure.
We had the game playing from YouTube up on the TV there in the place where we had dinner. So a lot of stuff. A lot of people, a lot of stuff. Everybody brought together, and then I think the icing on the cake is Mr. Harvey here came in last minute and had the recording that we've been looking for all summer of Phil singing the national anthem at that game. And so getting that burn over onto a CD for us to play that night was great.
Quite an event, Sam.
It was, and from an observer, congratulations, because I know that's not easy, and you got 5,000 people watching you too. Pull all this off, and nice reception and dinner in the cafeteria, a newly remodeled cafeteria that looks so nice. But I just thought one thing that impressed me was that our friends from Union County, while all this was going on, they were all standing and applauding too.
Absolutely.
And they understood the significance of this.
They did. And I think I talked to Ryan, their athletic director, a couple days before, and he was there and made sure that, his boys were respectful, and they were. They kind of stood down there and kind of watched the ceremony take place. But, yeah, you could see their fans, because I was kind of on that end, and you could see their fans standing up and applauding. And for them to play in the same gym that those gentlemen played in, 50 years ago, I think meant a little bit to the people that were there.
It did. And we always have a big crowd opening night, but this is as big as I've seen, near capacity.
It was big. I don't know what it has been in the past couple of years. I know we sold 1,740 tickets, somewhere in there. And we have about 1,200 all-sport ticket holders. So you throw those in there, and you throw the band and the Spartanettes and cheer, and then the families that came. I'm guessing maybe 4,000, 4,200, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So we got a lot.
Should have been a good night at the box office as well as at the concession stand.
I hope so, yeah. We got to pay bills off, right? All the bills.
That's right.
Pay the light bill, right?
Yeah, pay the light bill, yeah. And the heat, right? Because it was hot in there. It was very hot in there.
But the players that I got to talk to seemed very appreciative, and Coach Dickerson and Nancy, so good to talk to them, and Sally, their daughter, and they were glad to be back. I saw them come in, I said, welcome home.
They smiled. I mean, Nancy was full of smiles. Myron was talking to everybody. I think you interviewed him. The paper interviewed him. So he had he had a good night, I think.
He did.
So, and Gerald, I think he brought the entire Connorsville family there too. But they made shirts up, and he didn't know about it. So his wife, I think maybe it was his niece, was the one who made the T-shirts up that had Thomas on the back with his number, and so they all had T-shirts on. So that was really neat to see.
Great. It was a night to remember, definitely.
It was. It definitely was. I'm really glad we did it.
Yeah, maybe for 83, can you guys
we have something planned for the 83 team. Probably not as big as this one, just because, you know, it's still just it's still 40 years. But so we do have something planned. I don't know what it's going to quite look like. We've reached out to as many players as we can get a hold of. So if you guys know of anybody who maybe we haven't reached out to or you have any contacts, that one's a little more intense. There were more people in the picture. There were, you know, cheerleaders were in that picture. There were a lot of managers. So we're trying to get a hold of as many as we can. Again, not sure what it's going to look like right now, but we're hoping to do something for them in January.
I would think that Mark Beard might be a good resource for that.
Yes,
Because
I think he was part of that, wasn't he? Yeah, I'll say he was part of that team, I believe. Yep.
And I think he's still in contact with a lot of those people.
Good. And I think Daryl Drew as well. He's got a lot of contacts too for some of them. So some are hard to find. Unfortunately, we have lost a few from the 1983 team. So it'll be a challenge.
Is there a date set for that in January?
I think we're shooting for January the 11th. I believe that's the day we play Newcastle.
Okay.
So we thought that would be the great time
that's
to
very
do
appropriate.
it. That's kind of why we picked it. So we played Newcastle that day, so we thought that would be an appropriate time to do that. So
We'll see if they are as...
probably not. I think maybe it's the 7th. I know we're doing something with gymnastics as well for their 35th.
Right.
And so I think that's in February, and it's either the 7th or 11th. So I'm probably getting the dates mixed up. But
Well, that's okay.
it's coming soon. Stay tuned, yeah.
So 40 years for the second Connorsville Championship.
Yep.
It's been long enough, Fran. It's
a big
time
deal.
for another one.
That's right, might as well.
I know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah.
Maybe these boys will do it.
Well, maybe. We were wanting you girls to do it back when you were playing.
I know.
And
We wanted to do it.
I know,
There was those roadblocks.
well, you had the talent. It takes talent, but it takes a lot of luck as well.
It does, man. We fell just a little short each time. At least it wasn't, a 20, 30-point blowout. It was 1 or 2 points here and there, which is, I think, just as aggravating.
Could be. Could be.
How far did you guys go?
We went to semi-state, first round semi-state, my senior year.
Okay, yeah.
And then the year after, they went to the semi-state championship with April and Beth. So.
And these were in 19...
98 was when
Okay.
we went. Well, 97, 98 is the year.
Just blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's not been that long, right? Just a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. You still post up.
Probably. My daughter wouldn't like that, but probably.
Well.
She needs to get tough.
We'll get down to business now and talk a little bit about what's going on right now. The
Sure.
Spartans, Spartan boys are 1-1,
Yeah.
and Union County, and then they went to Delta, came close,
Yep. Free throws.
a
I think.
three-pointer.
Yeah, three-pointer there at the end. Yep.
Sam might tell us about that ball game.
One of the most physical games I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was intense.
We say they let them play. They really let them play, and maybe let them play too much. There was a lot of banging going on. You got to give James Williams a lot of credit. The way he battled the boards and went up to get those rebounds when they were hanging all over him. It reminded me of when his uncle Matt Howard played, how they used to hang on him, both in high school and in college when he played. But James going up strong and doing a great job.
Yeah, he really played hard. That first half, what did he have? 8 of the 16? He had over half the points in the first quarter, something like that. So.
And I don't think it was that we played badly. You got to hit your free throws, and that's something you can't coach.
Sure.
Sure.
It's an individual thing. So we were right there with them.
Sure.
I think,
a three-pointer.
I think we play again, that it could be turned around the other way. Unfortunately, we won't play again unless we make it to state finals. The way it works out there in the north bracket, and we're in the south bracket. So.
Well, that's tough gym for Connersville. Have we ever won there?
Well, Coach Brown said the other night in the pregame that he doesn't think that we've won up there, and he doesn't think that they've won here.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So it's time to reverse that, but not next year when they come here, but the following year when we go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're relatively new on the schedule, to speak.
Yeah, they haven't been on the schedule very long.
But it's a good team to play, and
Yes.
it's an hour away, and they treat us well there. Had a great hospitality room. I always like to brag on those. But Coach Detweiler, who was at Union County for a number of years, does a good job with them up there,
Yes.
and he understands Connersville basketball. He was at the Union County game the other night scouting it, so I don't know if he had any of his players with him or not, but he understands how intense we are here.
Well, he and Kerry coach a lot like, don't you think?
I think so.
Defensive
Yeah,
coaches,
they do.
I think they are.
Yeah. At one point, I thought both those guys were going to get thrown out of the game. It got a little intense there.
It got a little intense,
Yeah.
and the three gentlemen, the three referees, I had not seen before, and usually over all these years, I've seen guys most of the time. They're familiar faces. So, and you can't blame it on. It wasn't. They let them play, and it was rough. I think that some of that could have been diffused, but you can't blame a win, claim a win, or blame a loss on the officials.
That's right. No, that's not a good practice at all. Not at all.
No.
The girls are doing pretty well, aren't they? They're 4-4.
They're playing well. Came up short Saturday against Batesville. Batesville didn't miss, though. They were really good from the three-point line as well as a free throw line.
Yes.
So our girls, unfortunately, couldn't hit their free throws, but you put Batesville on the line and they were going to hit them. So
I think they were 19 of 20.
I was going to say, if they missed, it wasn't very many. So, and we weren't battling inside as tough as what I think the girls can.
Yes.
So that inside game wasn't there, which it had been in the past.
Right.
I talked to Coach Harder the other day, and it's just like they wait until the fourth quarter to turn it on, and then they try to come back from being down, 8-10 points, and they have to work really hard. By that time, they're out of gas because they're not a big deep team. They don't have 12, 15 girls. They have their 8 or 9 that play a lot, and so at that point they get kind of winded. So
how many times have you seen, and maybe even when you played, that when you're down, and say you're down double digits, and you may draw back even or within a bucket, and you get to that point or even go ahead, and you've expended all that energy, and then it goes away from you. And
it's just hard. I mean, you work your tail off, and then it's one bad shot or one bad turnover or something at the wrong point.
Next thing you know, you're down 10 again.
You're down again, absolutely. And I think that's where the girls struggled, is they just couldn't hit their free throws there at the right time, and their layups, they just couldn't hit a layup.
Right.
Yeah.
But you look at Batesville; they had some nice size across the front line.
They do. I think a lot of those girls played volleyball. I think I remember quite a few of them coming in to the gym to play volleyball, and they have some height. I think one of them was over 6 foot. There's a couple over 6 foot down there. So, and we don't have anybody that tall.
And they can leap.
They can.
You played both, and it's a totally different sport. But
it is.
But that rebounding, that's got to going up and trying to grab that's got to be similar to playing volleyball when you're at the net.
It is. You got to just catch it, though. You can't swat it out of their hands.
Right. But you still got to go up there.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
This week the girls play Greensburg at Greensburg.
Yep. Another conference game, so hopefully we can
Does
go there.
Greensburg compare with?
I don't know
Batesville?
a whole lot about Greensburg right now. I know it's kind of early, like Batesville. I think they'd only played one other game before they played us, so there wasn't a whole lot out there on them. So haven't looked a whole lot into the Greensburg game yet.
Yes.
I know with it being conference, though, it's going to be a battle.
I'm sure Michelle has some info on them that she's sharing with the girls.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure they've scouted and they're getting all their film, their game film ready to go.
Right. They'll be ready to go.
Yep.
They're usually pretty good. Have been the last several years.
Yes, they have been. Yes, they're strong.
They've gone a long way in the tournament back maybe 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, it's still the girls that are playing now. We're looking at, as little girls, they were looking at those big girls play, and
That's right.
so that tradition continues. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure, sure. That's important.
It is.
Before we look ahead to this week's schedule, let's review the Spartans game with Delta the other night. We have some clips, some highlights of that ball game. Let's watch them right now.
Crowded facility there. Not a real big gymnasium, but it's a nice place. They've really remodeled, done a lot at that school. There's Lucas Barron going in for the layup.
Notice there's a lot more turnovers. I don't know if the boys were just nervous.
More, yeah.
During the game, but there's a lot of miscommunication passes where they're throwing it at one and the other kid jumps in, or so yeah, there were some times that I think they could have capitalized on them and they threw it away.
Yeah, Coach Brown and I talked about that after the game. Many more turnovers than he wanted, double-digit turnovers.
And you could tell it was, it was getting aggravating because what they were wanting to do and what they were actually able to get done.
Yeah, he likes to keep it under double digits, and you can be pretty successful. But we're right there the whole game. It's a close game.
And James again inside.
Yeah.
Lots of buckets on the inside.
And brother combination there.
Yeah.
I think,
quite a few times.
Yeah. I think they can kind of read each other and know what the other one's thinking. And it's interesting that they're two completely separate, different kinds of players.
They are.
Josh and James. Both of them very talented.
Just
another nice pass inside.
Being able to see each other like they do.
Good, some good camera work here from the guys at TV3.
Yeah, they did a great job calling the game too.
So.
Right in it till the end there.
Yeah.
Just when they needed to capitalize, they unfortunately came up a little short.
Nice move to the basket by Gavin.
Braxton took a big hit there. Need to check in with him and see how he's doing, because I know.
Yeah, he did. He hit the
kind
back
of
of
took
his
a
head.
hit, and I don't know what came of it, but.
So there's your final. Spartans fall by 3, but they'll have an opportunity this weekend to forget about that and get a couple of wins.
Move on, yeah.
How close were the free throws making?
I don't recall. Had we hit, say, it wouldn't have taken a whole lot more, but maybe we were down around 60% on the free throw line. And,
Spartans usually are pretty good free throw shooting.
And I'm just trying to go by memory there.
Yeah.
But, coming up, Fran, this weekend, I know you'll talk about in a minute, we play one of the R's, and there are 2 R's on our schedule. No matter what the sport is, we have to win. The first one coming up is Rushville. So.
Okay. You might as well win the second one, too.
When Richmond comes.
Let's look at this week's schedule right now. On Monday, the freshman basketball team will be at Lawrenceburg. The middle school red teams are home with Batesville. Co-ed swimming at Centerville. On Tuesday, we have the middle school white teams at Seton Catholic. Co-ed swimming home with Batesville. On Wednesday, varsity wrestling will be at Milan. On Thursday, it will be middle school red teams at Hagerstown. The white teams will be home with Muncie Inspire. What is that? Muncie Inspire. What kind
I think it's just an academy that they kind of like a charter school almost that's come around.
Okay.
They're new. There's only one game. I think they're playing maybe 8th grade game on that one. But yeah, they only have one team. So they're kind of just starting out.
Sure. I just wondered, I mean, we see that every so often, but I thought I really had not had it explained to me what Inspire, what that Inspire team was. But thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
And the inspiration.
Inspiration for the explanation. Yeah.
Right. Home with, where we pick up here.
That's the one that's been canceled, right?
Yeah, the freshman game.
Freshman teams at home with, that was canceled with South Dearborn. They apparently can't make it, or they.
I don't know what the explanation was on that one. Something about they can't play all three teams at the same time, but we don't have a boys game that day, so there's not 3 games going on at the same time, so I'm not sure. So we're looking to reschedule that one.
Whatever, yeah.
Yep.
Friday, the Spartans will be at Rushville. On Saturday, varsity wrestling at Indy, the Cathedral Invite. That starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, I believe. The Lady Spartans will be at Greensburg for an afternoon ball game, and the Spartan basketball at Shelbyville at night. So it's a big lineup this week.
It's a pretty big one. Yeah, we've got swimming and wrestling during the week, and wrestling this weekend. Our boys are just jumped into this Cathedral invite. There's some pretty big teams that they'll see, some like 4A schools. So it'll be a great experience for them to get out and see some of those bigger, high-quality wrestlers. So give them a chance to compete.
I'm looking forward to swim season getting started here.
Yeah?
With grandson swimming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, does he dive?
No.
No. Okay. So divers are at Centerville tonight for an little invite, and then tomorrow's the home one. So that'll be.
Who's
They're
coaching the swim team this year?
So Zane Spurlock and Adam Kelly are coaching, so they're co-coaching. I'd love to say that Zane is the boys and Adam is the girls, but I think they both just kind of help out. And then we have an assistant coach, Paige Taylor. She just started. I think she swam here a couple of years back, maybe 5 years ago. She was on the swim team too. So fully staffed and ready to roll. So.
With it being co-ed events with your 2 coaches, it's easy for them to help each other.
Absolutely, and I think they do. I think in practice they work side by side, and in events, getting everything organized and being able to kind of divide and conquer the different things. That works out really nice. But the swim program should have a good season. We're really excited about that. We've got some kiddos that can probably go far.
And Adam Kelly, he grew up swimming. When he wasn't playing football, he was swimming.
Yep, he was swimming. So it's nice to see that full circle. He's back. So.
Yes.
Well, that'll be great. I'm glad. Some improvements for the pool in the future here.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's
a good question. It's a multi-million-dollar question. Yes, it is on the plan. I guess you'd call it a strategic plan. It needs a lot of work.
Does it really?
Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those we're probably going to have to either build a brand new facility, make a natatorium separate of the school, or completely start over. So it's unfortunately we can't host sectionals because we only have 6 lanes.
Right.
We don't have our own diving well, so we have to stop everything to do that. And the bleachers in there, because of the humidity in there, are starting to rust, and so that's not the greatest. And so it's just a lot of maintenance to keep it up right now. So it almost needs to be kind of started over. And
it's not cheap. You travel around. I know I've been to Franklin and Center Grove. And down to East Central and different places that have newer pools. What facilities they have, but it's not cheap. But you consider that facility is over 50 years old, so
that's true.
And it hasn't changed a whole lot.
You talked about the rust. Well, the chlorine in the air and the moisture in the air and all that deteriorates masonry, deteriorates the aluminum, the steel, whatever is in there.
Yeah, so it needs, there's a lot that needs to be done in there, but, there's some great positive things going, but hopefully here in the near future, we'll get something done with that. Because, gym classes use it too, so it's not just the swim team. So, there's a lot of schools that don't have pools anymore, and they don't have that luxury of teaching kids how to swim, and which could save their lives. So.
Right.
Yes, that would be a big project, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it would be a huge undertaking. Yes. There's some plans out there. We've got 3 different models that we've been quoted, and of course, they go from the million to the multi-million to the, way over the top. But The key is to see what's going to be the best for our school and our community when we do
Yes,
that.
yes.
You know, what's going to give us the biggest bang for the buck and still be nice.
If there's some donor out there that would like to.
I know. I could use a $10 million donor if anyone out there.
You'll put their name on the
I would
wall?
put their name on the wall. I could do a lot of stuff. Absolutely. We could football field donors. We could put them out there. So we're looking for that.
Okay, well, if we know anybody, we'll tell them.
Okay, let us know, Fran.
I will.
Well, with our vast audience, someone's out
Yeah,
there. Wants
absolutely.
That would be nice, though. But in its day, it was a very nice facility, Spartan Bowl at the pool. I mean,
The pool is a very nice facility. And like I said, I mean, a lot of schools don't have, they're not as big. They, you know, you can't even sit in the pool to watch swim meets. You're outside behind glass. So having what we have is fantastic.
Yes.
But the upkeep of it hasn't
I'll bet.
stayed. And so, you know, you've got some things that are not looking as nice as what they need to. So, I mean, you can slap paint on it and make it look nice, but you got to make sure that everything's
But like
working.
you said, we can't host. There are events we can't host.
Correct.
But
And we want to have, you know, we want to host as much as we can. And so being
they have
able
8
to.
lanes, don't they?
8 lanes, yep.
That's
If
what
you have
I
8 lanes, it's easier for you to be able to host a section.
Sure.
And they do like a separate diving well to where you don't have to stop the entire meet to do
Sure.
the diving. So and we don't have that. So
Well, that's in the future.
I hope so. I hope for that for our swimmers.
What's new with the Spartans? Anything that we should look out for coming up here?
As far as just any of the events,
Well,
anything
any
going
of like the spring sports thing, I'm sure you're working on that.
on? We are working on spring sports, working on getting into some track invitationals. Softball's kind of switching their schedule up a little bit, trying to be more competitive this year. Steve's hoping to have a good group of girls come out. Michael Thompson and I have worked a lot together with the baseball schedule, again, trying to kind of boost up some of our teams. Not that we're getting rid of teams that are not great, but we need some more sectional opponents on our schedule
Sure.
there. For the most part, the winter is set. I know with our
Yeah.
freshman boys, they keep getting their games canceled because teams
That's
are
too bad.
losing players or with injuries, having to move kids up. So I expect to see that happening. So girls are pretty much set. I know wrestling is trying to get into a couple more matches or some invitationals because they are down a couple, but hopefully we can keep them in some of the bigger ones.
and gymnastics is your last winter sport.
Winter sport, yeah. They'll start, I think she has a preview right there in December, right before Christmas, I believe.
I think
Or
it's the
maybe
16th, I believe.
Okay, so I think she has one there in coming up here pretty soon, and then they really don't get started until January, and then middle school girls basketball starts up in
Right.
January as well,
Right,
so it's a little
yeah.
bit behind. So not a whole lot of new things.
Well, just keeping up with what's going on, I guess,
Yeah.
is the important thing and
Yeah.
everything. But
Got the big Connorsville Invitational for the girls and boys basketball coming up there the Tuesday after Christmas, and then
yeah,
the Classic. You get a day off, and then the Classic ends that week.
So you
last
don't
week.
get a Christmas vacation.
No.
No.
Nope. I'll probably be hanging out at Spartan Bowl for the entire.
yeah, might as well
Christmas break.
move your bed into
Yeah.
Spartan Bowl and everything.
Get a cot and tell my
That's
family
right.
I love them. I'll see them later.
The Classic's a big, big thing, isn't it?
It is. We have 32 teams coming in. We are going to use track wrestling, which is a new updated system, so you can kind of see what's going on up to date, and it's all digitized on your phone. So hopefully it'll make it go faster and
Good.
smoother,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll get more wrestlers acknowledged throughout the state.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come from all over Indiana. It's great for
They do, and some are going to come down and stay the night because they come from so far away. So and they look forward to that.
And they spend money in our town, and that's
They
a good
do,
thing.
and I've got a list of places where they can go to eat and spend that money.
Good.
So
When is the Spartan Classic? When is it?
29th and 30th. So it's a Thursday and Friday.
2-day effect. Thanks, Andrea, for joining us for today's program and bring the folks up to date on what's going on. And we wish all the Spartans the best of luck in upcoming events.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks again. Bye. Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Have a nice evening.